2024 race for the White House is not only important to Americans, the whole world is watching. The mantra, America is back, from the start of the Biden administration is increasingly followed up by an anxious question: for how long? Which explains why a potential rematch between President Biden and Donald Trump was the talk of the World Economic Forum that just wrapped up in Davos, Switzerland yesterday. According to a report in the New York Times, the consensus at Davos was that Trump will return to the White House. But the Times also notes that the predictions that come out of Davos are often wrong. So there's that. Joining me now, former Congresswoman Jane Harman, who just got back from Davos. She is the chair of the Commission on the National Defense Strategy. Jane, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jonathan. Welcome to the new hour.
Thank you. Thank you. It's quite nice. So, Jane, listen, Trump was a big topic of conversation in Davos, as I said. But what was your takeaway from the week?
Well, it was the theme of the conference was rebuilding trust. Not so fast. I think managing distrust might be a better comment about the state of the world. But when Trump had a blowout victory in Iowa, everybody started focusing on, oh, my God, is he really coming back? And my answer to that is, who knows? It's 10 months away, which in political years is 10 years away. And we'll see. But it certainly was a huge victory. And many at the conference worry that it's the end of NATO, it's the end of cooperation, and it's the end of funding for Ukraine forever. Bibi Netanyahu will stick forever, and we'll have a one-state solution, which I don't buy at all. But it was, pretty scary talk.
Well, you just segued to my next question, which was about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you think he and Russian President Vladimir Putin believe that Trump will be back in the White House, and that's why they are taking the actions they're taking?
I think the size of the victory in Iowa emboldened both of them to try to coast would be a wrong word, but to try to avoid any change in strategy for the next 10 months. I think that Putin thinks he's going to get stronger, and certainly what I hear is he is rebuilding the defense stocks that he lost. He is surging his economy on war, spending a third of his budget on his war effort, and there for the long haul. And Trump will clearly, there's a case where Trump clearly favors him over Zelensky, who didn't follow Trump's orders to find dirt on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden during the last campaign. In the case of Israel, it's trickier because, as Tom Friedman said at the conference, Israel has lost the narrative, and an increasing number of people in this country and around the world think that the extensive bombing in Gaza has to stop. I would just offer that this is the point where Biden could even be bolder. There's now some disarray in the war cabinet. Gabi Eisenkot, who was the chief of staff of the IDF in the past, has already said that this war plan is not working. I don't think it's working. As Lloyd Austin said a couple months ago, Israel may have some tactical wins, but there might be strategic defeat. And this is the time for the U.S. to be bolder about the two-state solution and say, we not only think it's a good idea, but we are considering endorsing this initiative of the Arab countries, not only to find a path to the two-state solution, but also, this has to be in there, to guarantee Israel's security and to secure the release of all the hostages. I think that last piece will change the mood in Israel, and there is a chance that the war coalition and the government could fall apart soon, and there could be new elections. And then we'll let the Israelis decide what they want to do.
We got a couple minutes. I'm going to try to squeeze in two questions. President Biden spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday for the first time in weeks. And I'm wondering, and where Netanyahu said no to a two-state solution, are we witnessing the fraying of the relationship between Israel and the United States, or are we witnessing the fraying of the relationship between Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu, who have known each other for decades?
Well, it's politics. And I think Netanyahu is calculating that by disagreeing with Biden, he strengthens himself with his right-wing coalition. So this is what he's saying publicly, what he's saying privately. We don't know. But I think in the end, if Israel's future if Israel's to continue as a pluralist democracy, this policy of one state and no on a two-state solution has to change.
And real quickly, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was at Davos making the case, pleading for assistance from the United States and other countries. The president's aides have been out there saying that Russia could win the war within weeks if Ukraine doesn't get the money. What are your thoughts on that assessment?
Well, Zelensky was very impressive, and so were his aides were out in force. His Minister of Strategic Industry, the U.S. ambassador, others were all there. They deserve the aid. Biden should say he will take any bill, border bill that both houses can pass, plus Ukraine aid. It has to be a package.
Right. And
he should do it immediately because, I think the clock is ticking. But let me just make one more comment on...
Clock's ticking.
The clock is ticking. Quick. On Ukraine. They deserve to win. They deserve our support, and we've given it. And if we walk away from this, you know that Xi Jinping will watch this and think, oh, Taiwan, let's go for Taiwan.
As the president always says, this is a battle between autocracy and democracy.